And I'm Simone Reddington, and we are coming to you from this. We didn't nail this one. From the Salisbury Center podcast studio in our sweet little town of Manassas.
Until they kick us
out. I don't know what the hell that was.
That's my favorite one so far.
We've had a good day, so we're just a little out of sorts. We had lunch today, and
we had lunch together.
Yeah,
and then we went shopping. Where?
It was fun. We went to Studio Lux. Studio Lux. Congratulations to Brandy. Yay!
And what was it she won again?
She won NAACP Woman of the Black-owned Woman Business of the Year. I can't remember. I'm sorry. I can't remember the official title, but it's awesome.
Yeah,
kudos
she's amazing.
to her.
She's amazing.
I love the store.
They have the 2 locations, and I think there's been like a whisper, that maybe she's going to do something else.
There was something hinted on social media, but I haven't seen anything since.
Hate hints. Oh,
I know.
God, just tell me what it is.
Hint sucks.
I hate it so much. What else happened this week?
A lot of things happened this week. I sent Haley back down to school. She's a sophomore at JMU.
Go Dukes.
And yes, go Duke. She's living in the Alpha Phi house at JMU. The colors are silver and Bordeaux.
And it's important to know the colors.
Yes. I wouldn't want anybody inadvertently wearing silver and Bordeaux and not knowing
but
that.
I like
Alpha Phi has claimed it.
Bordeaux.
Not maroon. Bordeaux. So hi to the Theta Iota chapter and all the girls living in the house and all of Haley's friends. They were all so sweet when we were moving in. And I think they're going to have a lot of fun this year.
I think they're going to have a lot of fun this year that we don't necessarily want to know about.
Yeah.
Go girls.
I haven't heard from her all weekend, so.
Fine. Haley's fine. I'll tell you what. I said to Chris earlier this week, I said the devil works hard, but Simone Marie Reddington works harder. I was at my job all week, but all week Simone
I had something every day.
Yeah. Like on feet to the concrete, taking meetings, just inviting men onto her porch. We'll get to that.
Awesome men.
But we will cover now what we covered the first part of last episode because there's
been a ton of updates. I mean, literally, it got to a point where news was changing every minute. And this is regarding Mamta, right in view of it. Mamta Kafle Bhatt is how I've heard her name pronounced. And they just, they've arrested her husband. He's in custody now.
The charge being concealing a dead body. I don't believe that they have released that they've found one yet, but I think they have enough information that
There's a lot of evidence in the house that they removed.
Yeah. And, but literally, I mean, Simone was like, at the police station, like going over to like when they were doing press conferences. I
didn't necessarily go for this. I went because I love true crime and this is in my backyard.
Sure.
So to be able to kind of experience it in person is a whole different level. And it was interesting. I went to Manassas Park Police Station for a press conference that actually didn't happen. I don't know. There was some confusion, but I ended up meeting one of her neighbors who was very emotional, and we ended up sitting and talking, and I never got her name, but she had a really heavy German accent, and she was just, devastated. This is a friend. This is a neighbor, in addition to a mother that has been, we still don't know what's happened to her. And man, all the things, there's nothing that doesn't point to him.
Right. Like, for example, July 30th, he purchased a 3-piece knife set from Walmart. And when they searched the home, 2 of the knives are unaccounted for.
Yeah. And when they went into the home, they found blood pools that had been attempted to clean up, or he had attempted to clean up in the bedroom. The bathroom, what did you say? The bathtub, like completely lit up under luminol.
And then on the 31st of July, he purchased cleaning supplies from another Walmart out in Loudoun County. So you think
like a half hour away.
You think you're slick going out to Loudoun County.
Yeah, and why was he in Loudoun County?
Right. Well, we know he sold his Tesla.
Yeah, was trying to sell his house.
Mm-hmm. And when the police finally got their warrant and got in there, they could see his bags were packed, passports were in full view.
This was a man ready to run.
He was ready to go. He was going to take his baby and...
This isn't a man. This is a murderous motherfucker.
Yep. You heard it here first.
Piece of crap.
You heard it here first. We have a clean show.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
He's
We have a clean
in the court
show,
of Simone.
So when she says something like that. And then the next hearing for him is October 24th. And so, like, you know, I'm sure we're going to be hearing about this every single day.
His mother, her emergency visa has been approved. So, or not his mother, her mother will be traveling from Nepal, or hopefully is on her way, because they have that 1-year-old baby girl, Nima.
She turned 1 last week.
The day before he was arrested.
Mm-hmm.
But while I was at the police station on, I don't know what day it was, I think Thursday, the day he was arrested.
Yeah, it was Thursday.
I actually met Nadia, who is the friend behind all of this. She's the one that set up the GoFundMe. You know, she started the original Find Mamta Facebook page. You know, she has been super involved. It is mind blowing to see what this young woman, who looks a day older than my Haley, has done to find her friend.
And she lived with them briefly?
I don't know, but I know she doesn't live in Manassas, because it's been like this constant, you know, she's trying to get here for things. And
I felt like something I read was that maybe she had lived with them or stayed with them for like a brief time. And he had started to like be really obsessed with like what she was doing. And like,
I remember reading this somewhere.
And that just, all of it just creeps me and just sends chills down my spine. And I mean, we were obviously hoping for a better outcome.
But realistically, I mean, we all kind of know.
Friend.
She is. I said to her,
tell this.
I was like, I could only hope that if something were to happen to me, I would have one of my friends in my circle that would care about me just a quarter as much as you do for her. And her answer was, you should know Mamta. And then I started crying.
Right.
I mean, just... so incredible. She's so young. She's done so much for her friend.
And like, well, then they're both young. And it's just like, that's what's nuts. And Jess was covering this the other night on Tribe Called Jess. And I called up here. And that one of the things I was touching on is like, what a testament to who she was as a person.
For people that don't even know her to feel that
breaking
energy.
Their literal ankles.
Yes. Feeling that energy and feeling compelled to do something, whether it's donate money, get out there and search. I walked Sarah's dog and I just walked all over. There was a water reservoir. I walked down there, which then I found a bunch of tents, which then I got freaked out, because then you realize, you know, this is real. This is real, like, you know, oh my gosh, what if that is something? I hope we never have to experience this in our town again. And I hope that this situation, you know, if anybody else is in this situation, that they are able to find a solution, find safety, reach out, ask for help.
There's a lot of things that put Manassas on the map. I guess this is one of them. We have another famous one from 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And
longer than that, like 40 years ago.
God. And we have to look up when that was. Snap, chop. But you know, that's why I love our podcast, is because we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about all these other wonderful things that also put our town on the map. But she will not soon be forgotten.
No, Mamta Kafle Bhatt.
Yeah.
The other one was 1993.
Oh, so I was 14 years old.
31 years then, I guess, if we're doing some quick math. Snip.
Yeah, we will cover that.
And
next time. I've met her. I know her.
Yeah,
I met her. Haley played volleyball with her daughter. Yeah,
she was in a class I taught one time.
Yeah, very nice woman.
Because she worked for the company for a brief time.
Yeah. Oh, I knew she was in the industry.
Yeah, the biz. And Allie and I call it the idiot industry. Inside joke.
Don't even know what that means.
Don't worry about it.
So yes, that's the latest on Mamta. You know, we're going to cross our fingers that there's some closure and we can move forward with that soon.
I just can't imagine. I mean, we'll touch on this in a second. I got to meet your friend Carol the other night, and that's an earth angel. If I've ever met one, the sweetest treasure. And it just, you know, and how did you guys meet?
Oh gosh, we met, 14, 15. The kids were little babies, and she was the neighbor.
Yeah.
She was a neighbor. I knew her brother, Andy.
Uh-huh.
He had the office behind us.
Okay, yeah.
And we met through Kathy Sailor's, one of my other
okay.
besties.
Yeah.
That's my crew.
She's a
Kathy, Leanne, Carol, I call them my corners.
Yeah.
And Carol, gosh, you want to talk about a creative, talented person?
She does the books.
She does the books.
she's
They're
super talented.
stunning.
Maybe
Stunning.
when we edit this, we can put a picture up of one of the things that she makes because they're so good.
They're beautiful.
Yeah,
They're
she
pieces of
was-
art.
She was lovely. And
Yeah, she hung out with me all day Friday.
Yeah.
Well, not all day Friday, because Friday morning was we've had news crews here all week, mainly for Mamta, but then we had something awesome happen on Friday morning. WTTG Fox 5 sent their crew here to do their Zip Trip series in Manassas, Virginia.
10th anniversary.
Yes. Yeah. It was really neat. Like, it was kind of last minute. It just started showing up on my Facebook feed, and everybody's like, come on down. And, I was like, ooh, that's early. So Sinistral had the most appealing invitation, and it was like, come down at 9. And that was a lot easier for me. And
Sinistral is a brewery.
Sinistral Brewery here in town.
Had morning breakfast beer.
They had morning breakfast beer.
Yeah.
I thought it was just props. People were cracking them open.
Wow.
It was a good time.
And what was the name of the guy that came? The host?
Tucker Barn.
He looked like he was having a good time.
Yeah, I think, my gosh, he was all over town. He was at the Old Town Man Cave. They started, Kristen, my new buddy Kristen, director of HMI, she kicked off the program with like from her office, and, talked about HMI and talked about Old Town.
Like an interview.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then a lot of the different stores had segments. Filigree had a nice segment. Do you go there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They have, if you've never been to Filigree, it's right on Center Street, right next to Ashby Jewelry and Popcorn Monkey. And they have a cool concept. You bring in whatever container you have, and they have shampoo, soap, conditioner, beyond bath products.
Bath
they
salts.
have dish soap, laundry detergent. There's just a ton of stuff, and you bring in your own container, and then less waste.
Yeah. And then you can take in, I believe, recycled empty wine bottles and things like that. And I think jars.
But other than that, they have gifts,
and you can get credit, I think, towards for bringing them in, and you can get a few dollars. But also great gifts like bath bombs.
Yeah,
they have those reusable.
It smells really good in there.
It's all those wonderful things. It is a great place to get a gift for someone that you don't really know.
Yeah, no, hostess gifts. Would be really cool. I mean, don't take it in your old trash. Don't get your old trash filled up and then give it to somebody. Might be a little confusing. But it was really cute. There was a girl named Caroline there. She was born and raised here in Manassas. Just sweet as can be. She does want chickens back, though. Chickens have become relevant in the city of Manassas again.
People are wanting to have them.
Yeah. I'm up for a new conversation. I spoke out against them last time, but I'm okay with a conversation.
I just feel like it's one of those things it can go bad.
Yeah.
So
well, that's
quickly.
part of the conversation.
Yeah.
Filigree. They were also voted Best of 2024 Specialty Store and Most Community Involved Business with InsideNova.com.
I love it.
Yeah. So they did a segment. Loom did a segment. Voodoo Brothers did a segment. They interviewed some people in town. But yeah, Sinistrals was the best segment. That was fun. That was fun. Everybody crowded in behind. I had Jeff Pickard next to me. Hi, Jeff.
Look what I'm doing, Jeff.
Jeff complained that Nicki puts her hand. He goes, and tell France to get her hands out of her face. That's
See what I'm doing?
Yeah.
Jeff.
Vogue.
You're not going to like this episode, Jeff. We talk about the Salisbury Center a lot.
That was another complaint.
where we're filming this. Our sponsor. Jesus.
But no, he was next to me, and I was like, I kept position. I used Jeff Pickard as my own
support.
Yes, yeah. I was like, because
if
I needed, he was my support Pickard. If I needed more space, I would move him over. But then if I felt like I I kept moving him.
Yeah.
I kept positioning him, and I was like, Jeff, I was like, smile. our moment. This is our moment.
And he did.
smiled.
It was huge.
It was huge.
People
Jeff
were
Pickard
like, he's-
looking jolly
It was
at
awesome.
9 o'clock in the morning. It was great.
I was so jealous.
Yeah, there was a lot of people. My girlfriend, Shannon and Sean Stanley, Wade Franklin.
He comes to the salon.
Who? Sean Stanley?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I've known him a million years.
Yeah, comes to the
Love
salon.
Sean.
Hi, Sean. He sees
Hi,
me.
Sean.
Yeah.
He's so handsome. Hey, do you know his brother?
No,
Travis?
I don't. No, that's all the Nokesville.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Travis. Hi,
Yeah.
Travis. I'm not going to talk about what Travis and I normally talk about because it's lost on
Hey.
everybody.
Hey.
Yeah, Wade Franklin. I love Wade. Hi, Wade. He's so sweet. And his dog Maggie, he posts really funny. He has a boxer, and he posts really funny videos, and she's afraid of frogs. So she wouldn't go out the other night. Like he had to carry her outside because she wouldn't go out with the frogs doing their brr, brr.
Yeah. Oh.
Chris Hearn was there from Yoko Says No.
I read a comment that said that band doesn't get to play a whole lot in Manassas, and that they want to play.
They don't.
They were good.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
They are so good. Even Carol,
Yeah.
who went with me on Friday night, and I like to be home. Friday night is Dateline. It comes on at 10. I want to be like geared up and ready for Dateline. So, but no, we stayed until they were absolutely done.
They were so good.
Chris was feeling really good. He started off with the breakfast beer, and by the end of the night, he had some more dessert beer.
He was just drinking them right out of like a little pitcher.
Yeah.
And what happened when
He gave us he gave us a couple of shout outs. Nobody really gave a shit, but he gave us shout outs. And I was like,
talking about?
He said, I'm addicted to your fucking podcast. I was like, yeah. And then
love
people were like, what is he talking about?
Yeah.
It was
Gut
more
lady.
music.
But didn't he say he was going to party until they kick us out?
He did.
Yeah.
He did. When I first got there, he said, hi, Simone. He was like, let's party until they kick us out. Love that.
Yeah.
Love it. Love
No,
it.
they
love
were
it.
great. And
They were so good. I love their selection of music. It's
I hope
Eminem, Elvis, I don't know, Britney Spears. They just sing everything.
Yeah.
It's a good, good, good time.
Well, if you're looking to book a band.
Yeah. Yoko Says
Look
No.
no further.
I know they're playing First Friday in November.
Nice.
In November, not September, October, November.
Yoko Says No, first Friday.
Yoko Says No.
Yeah.
So good. So good. Guaranteed good time. Yeah. I have it written down here. Eric WeWorka was there. Eric, you
Hi,
were
Eric.
a lot of trouble
I met
on
him.
Friday. I love him. He was not at breakfast beer though.
Mm.
He worka.
Yeah, I work it too.
Yeah. Yeah. Tons of fun people.
Yeah.
Tons of fun people. And then Saturday.
Oh, that was a big day for you.
Saturday
She knows how to party.
was a lot.
Yeah, here, let her tell you how.
I started off with this quilt show.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't even know about it.
No, I did not.
Actually, you know what? I didn't know about it until my girlfriend, one of my best friends, she was my maid of honor, Selena. She sent me something on Facebook, and then I was interested, and then I started noticing it everywhere. And it's a thing. You pay $10 to get in. You can buy raffle tickets, like you vote your favorites. I walked off with a quilt that I paid for.
And it was super beautiful. She showed me, and the colors are gorgeous. And like, no,
Yeah,
I
it's
didn't know that
stunningly
was there.
gorgeous.
Again, like
It's put on by the Stonehouse Quilters.
right.
It's a 30-year-old organization, approximately 80 quilters. The show is at the Boys and Girls Club, but I guess it's an every year thing, and I will be going back. It was like art. Imagine,
There was one that had like a camper.
that was my favorite.
It
I
was
voted that
so
number
cute.
one.
It had like a camper you'd pull behind your car, and
and
just,
if she on the plaque, I'm assuming it was a she. I'm sorry, I can't remember what the name of the artist was, or quilter. It said that it was on the bed in their camper.
oh god.
And then I was like, all right, number one.
adorable.
But they were just gorgeous works of art.
Yeah.
Beautiful, 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 beautiful.
and then you left the quilt show.
I left
And-
the
but you
quilt
did
show
not win the
and all my
raffle for-
money at the quilt show because I bought a ton of raffle tickets because I really wanted the big quilt that they were raffling off, but I did not win. Wah wah. And then my beautiful quilt. And then I sprinted over to Manassas Museum for the spotted lanternfly thing that I keep talking about. That Zach Murphy he actually hosted it too. He did the outside tour of the gardens.
That's awesome.
And that was nice.
Did you learn anything about
I did.
spotted lanternfly?
Spotted lanternfly is not as horrific as we once were told. No need to absolutely freak out, but still kill the little shits. Kill them. They love the tree of heaven, which is, I thought it was a weed that if you let it go long enough, it turns into a tree. And sure enough, anywhere you see a tree of heaven, you look and they're like covering it.
Ugh.
It's not because they're real pretty.
They are pretty.
They're pretty.
And they move really fast.
Yeah. I mean, you look at it and it's going to take off and fly in your face.
Becky hates bugs like so much. And that spotted lanternfly is her arch nemesis.
Yeah.
That's so bad.
Not stink bugs. I would think stink bugs are
Not
they're
as
still up on
much.
my list.
They're like even a bird flying too close to her head. Not a fan of that. She's going to kill me for saying this.
I did falconry one time and it like my
You
hair
at the Greenbrier?
moved. Yeah. It was cool. You put it on your arm and they land. But no, it was very informative. There's plenty of solutions that you can find online. A lot involved Dawn dish detergent, vinegar, different solutions you can spray on your plants if you are having an issue with spotted lanternflies. And one interesting thing that somebody had brought up was tape. Actually, there were two of my sweet friends were there, Susie Lunsford and my neighbor Karen, and we were all together and learning about these bugs. But one of them asked about the tape that they sell in the store. And Zach actually said that, it is very effective, but be careful because they have found that birds and small rodents get stuck to the tape. So they said to use some kind of wire protector to keep the birds and rodents safe.
You guys know
how
how
foot that I'm kicking
It
you?
is my foot. Yes.
Sorry.
God,
I keep stretching my legs.
Spotted lanternfly party.
Like, what is that?
God, wild as hell.
But while I was at the museum, all these crazy things happened.
Let's hear them. Were there the ghost of Grace E. Metz?
No, but there could be another ghost.
Yeah.
I found out a fun fact that I feel like I heard at one point and then it didn't stick, but then Zach mentioned it again and I went home and I Googled. There was a celebrity that attended school. Well, I shouldn't say celebrity, a well-known individual. To us, he's not a celebrity. That attended school very briefly where the Manassas Museum is back in like the 1920s.
So back in the 1920s, the Manassas Museum was?
The Swavely Prep School.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
So do you know who attended there?
I
You do, because it's in our notes.
Yes. Well, I do, but I would like our listeners to know.
Yeah. Ron L. Hubbard of Scientology.
Yeah.
Fame
or
cult
in
or
fame,
religion or group or organization. I don't know.
Tom Cruise's
I know.
place.
I like what famous Scientologist should come here and commemorate the museum for housing. Actually, I think it was pivotal in Ron L. Hubbard's life because he was trying to get into the Naval Academy, flunked, didn't pass the test.
Oof.
So then they sent him to Manassas. So then they punished him and sent him to Manassas. And he was actually, that's where they were going to prep him to take the test again.
Was at this school?
Swavely. I think I'm saying it right. Swavely, prep school. And he was diagnosed with an eye issue, myopia. And so they were like, oh, no Naval Academy for you. Go off and start something great.
And do something else.
Yeah.
And what he chose to do was
Scientology. Yeah. Have you ever seen their boat?
I have, because I've been to Aruba twice.
Yes. Like Aruba.
And this is what I didn't know. It's called the Free Winds. It's a 440-foot cruise ship built in 1968.
It's older, yeah.
It doesn't look older, but it's always docked where the cruise ships come in Aruba, where I'm getting married in February. Hi, Courtney. And but it's always there, and we drive by, and I'm like, does it leave? Like, does it ever leave here? But it is. So that is very interesting on two levels.
Yeah,
because that guy was here in Manassas, and like.
That's so weird. That's so weird and random. Yeah.
It is random. So I guess we're on the map for a couple different things.
I know. Yep. We're going to give you all the weird and obscure Manassas facts.
That's awesome.
Right here. So yeah, that was kind of cool. And then I wrapped up my Saturday with a quiet night at the Salisbury Center for Cagezilla. Cagezilla. My phone automatically capitalizes it for some reason. I don't know why.
Well
when I type
done.
Cagezilla, it's like, no, it can't be Cagezilla. It has to be
I
Cagezilla.
love that.
And that's how it was.
Yeah,
It was an amazing night.
it was. So what made you decide to go, and who did you decide to bring with you?
I wanted to go because, oh my gosh, look at my shirt. John?
Because she went to the Cagezilla. She wanted the ring
I just
girls.
noticed it literally, I guess, you did.
Hold on a minute. The people
This
that
is
are
a
listening are going to be like,
continuing
what
issue
happened?
with
What
you
happened?
in the podcast. And
I know. I don't know.
This is for Mitch Reddington.
Yeah. Mitch. my fridge hero. And I'm all shiny.
He's pretty
Makeup,
handy.
makeup.
Yeah, right.
Makeup, you're needed.
So what?
I wanted to go to Cagezilla because we had previously discussed which one would be the best one for me to get a full experience. And it was last night. I have no doubt about it. We picked the perfect event. I brought my dad, my 79-year-old dad, Chuck, who is still riding the high from last night. He was
out of his mind.
Out of his freaking mind. We were both kind of in overload. He had spent the whole week watching YouTube. Like my mom was like, Daddy's so excited. He can't stop watching boxing. The boxing is what she called it. And I, on the other hand, did not Google anything because I wanted to be surprised.
Authentic experience.
Yeah. And it truly was that. Yeah. Like, I didn't expect I didn't expect some of the fighters to be as doughy as they were.
Yeah.
I thought
different weight classes.
Yeah, I imagined
people don't expect me to be so doughy.
Like gonna kill someone. No, there was, and then I was like, oh my gosh, I could totally do this.
Yeah,
I'm built for that.
I mean, there's definitely like if you have not been to them, and this is something I think that is maybe like one of the downsides, but also part of the excitement. If you've not been to one before, like you might not necessarily know what you're going to see because sometimes these guys get hurt and sometimes their eyes are crossed and like they're laying on the ground. She's sitting next to the medic.
We sat next to the medics. Dear Jeff, I feel like we need the ASPCA music that comes on. If I ever, he has a little Sarah McLachlan. If Dad and I ever attend again, we would like to sit next to the medics for his sake and for our entertainment.
For people that don't know, Chuck Davis he's
a paraplegic in a wheelchair. Yeah. He's on oxygen.
He's a wildcat is what he is. But
he's a smoker on oxygen. You didn't want to give him a cigarette.
He was joking.
And then I had to tell you, please give him a cigarette before he goes crazy.
They come in and she had already bought really good tickets, and then they were like, "No, let us take you over here." They gave them the greatest seats.
It was awesome.
We were
right by the fence.
In front.
Is it called a fence or cage? I don't know. Cage.
Yeah.
Thank you, John.
And so he was when I came over.
We were right there.
I haven't met Chuck before, but I came over to meet him. His eyes were like bulging out of his head, and he was like, "I've been around the world. I have seen so many things." He's like, "I've never seen anything like this. I've never been this close to the action." It was adorable,
wicked.
It was amazing,
cool.
And then
we had our own commentary going, because especially last night, and this being my first experience, on the way to the bathroom, you walk by the other theater over here, and you can see all the fighters are in there.
Yeah,
like they're all so friendly to each other. Like there's definitely a camaraderie amongst the fighters, the coaches, all the people. I don't know what the hell I was expecting. I was expecting somebody wanting to fight me. I don't know what the hell I was expecting.
But that's my favorite part is that
the people were so nice. Everybody was so cool. Like the fighters were cool. It was weird seeing them post-fight with their face all gnarled up and
one's just like casually sitting like kind of close to them, and she's like, "Look at him."
I couldn't stop staring at him. His face was like morphing as the night went on. I love weird
the sportsmanship. Like there was one of the title fights, I think, that one guy did like a jump and twist, and it was so good that the other boxer actually like high-fived him.
Yeah.
Before they kept going.
And what do they do? John, what are they doing? Like are they kissing the mat? Are they praying? What is that?
So a lot of it's like what's the word? I'm looking for,
Tradition,
Chris?
superstition.
Yeah, traditions and traditional Muay Thai and showing respect to
Like they got down next to each other. There was one fight and they got up, like they put their heads right next to each other after the fight. Like I don't know. It's just a really cool thing to see.
Yeah.
They're very supportive of one another. Like they after the fight they would come out and cheer for one another. My favorite cheer. Grab his dick and twist it. That was a big cheer. Grab it.
Yeah, I think you and your dad both yelled that too.
We did.
Who was your favorite?
My favorite was Honest Abe. I got pictures with him and Dad. And actually his mom, Abe's mom, commented. And then I talked about how sweet her son was. And he talked to Dad. And
sweet little fight.
yeah, it was, he looks like Abe. And he had the top hat. And
Yeah. No,
he was really
he's
good. I
working
liked
that
him.
look is what he's
I
doing.
liked
Yeah.
him.
No, I don't know a lot about it. One of my closest friends, Emma, she is like a world champion, like tournament jujitsu, gi, no gi. And like my, bestie Allie and I we love her. We support her. She's actually competed here.
Wow.
Which was horrifying. I don't know if you know anything about jujitsu, but it's like super confusing to someone that doesn't know anything about it because it just looks like they're like lightly kind of twisting themselves.
But
But
Jeff
anyway,
is going to freak out.
she's a champ. But I love watching all the things that like are the traditions and stuff that goes into like what they do because
it's
I
very
know
interesting
nothing about it, but
because
I respect it.
Walking into it with no knowledge at all,
Mm-hmm.
to me, it's just this crazed fight club.
When's the next one?
The next one was September. Actually, I saw something on Facebook. September 22nd is boxing.
Is the Muay Thai boxing. That's the Muay Thai.
There's two. There's
two.
Muay Thai on Saturday, and then
added
there's
one last
boxing
minute.
on
Yeah.
Sunday, and then October will be the next MMA cage.
So yeah,
cage fight.
It's
so
two
the
right
next
next to each other.
Yeah, the next Cagezilla is because they do every other
November?
month. Yeah, would be.
I don't think we
When
wrote
did
it
we
down.
say the next?
October 19th.
October
Oh,
19th.
oh, sooner
But
than
then,
that.
yeah.
Oh, Dad will want to come. That's a week before his birthday.
But the next TCB Muay Thai boxing here is the
9/21.
21st, and then the 22nd is
Is the
Champions.
Beacon boxing?
Awesome.
What did I say?
So there's lots of fighting going on. You can come on down and see it.
Yes. Where are we?
Anyway, Cagezilla.
All I see
This
is
is the
grab
plug
his
for
dick and
Cagezilla.
twist it.
Come in, you'll enjoy yourself. Earlier, I mentioned you inviting a strange man to your front porch.
Yes.
What happened there?
That was actually a wonderful experience.
He wasn't so strange after all.
He wasn't. Even though I came at him like a crazy
you
woman. I was walking to my house. I was walking home from Mom and Dad's, and I saw Chief Keane, we brought him up the last couple episodes. He was walking, I think, to his vehicle. I don't know. He was walking somewhere, and I did that creepy thing where you make eye contact with somebody, and then you just kind of, and then I think he thought, is she in distress? And so
Right.
he kind of stopped what he was doing.
Well, he's the chief of police, and he's like, "What does that strange woman need?"
He was very kind, and I asked him if he had heard about the show. I had asked him if he watched. He had not. So hopefully he is.
Weird.
Hopefully he is. But either which way, things are happening. I now have a relationship with Chief Keane, and I love it because he's awesome.
He doesn't know what he's gotten himself into.
He does not know what can of worms he has opened. Oh my goodness.
Well, what'd you guys talk about?
We sat on my porch, and he had the time. He made the time for me, and we sat there for over an hour, and I laid out a bunch of concerns that I have as a citizen. Specifically, I've voiced this before, I'm concerned about him being in the interim position, and, how does he feel like he's put in a difficult position knowing that he might potentially go back to being a police chief? And I asked him, why aren't you the city manager? Why haven't you taken the job? And he had many valid reasons that I never thought of before. There's a heart and lung benefit that first responders receive that he would walk away from.
When he retires.
Yes. Would he move into the city? Would he want to take on a new career at his age? Which I won't say, but he's young and spry.
Mm-hmm.
He's weighing all these things, and that's why he hasn't committed to it. And he says there's things in place that, if that allow him the ability to be able to make this decision of, help out in this position for as long as we need it, and then return to his police chief
what he
duties.
loves. Did he say why he thinks we haven't found a new city manager yet?
His response is very similar to what I've heard all around the board. Like, we just haven't had any qualified candidates that fit. That's what we've been told. So I don't know. What do we do to get our city manager here?
Can we get the old one back?
I think he moved on to a bigger, better city. Not a bigger, better. I take that back.
There's no bigger and better.
There is no better. Bigger, yes.
Bigger, yeah.
Better, We're here. We're here.
No, that's a big loss.
John got up. Is he opening up the door? Do I look like I'm going to pass out?
He's like going to kick us out. Okay.
So yeah, we talked about that.
Do you guys talk about any real estate purchases?
We did talk about real estate purchases, and he says that he is only responsible for the Marsteller purchase, which in my opinion is, no, I take that back. I am still behind the Old Town Inn purchase
100%.
because that needs to happen. I just want them to do something with it. And he
Absolutely.
said that an important announcement will be coming soon. So that was a week ago.
Yeah.
Chief Keane,
Yeah.
fill us in.
I'm so excited to find out. Like, I hope that it's another hotel.
Yeah.
I hope it's like a...
That's what it's looking
cute
like.
hotel.
I would love something that when Haley gets married and Piper gets married in the future, we could do a reception there.
Yeah. Or at the Salisbury Center. Either way. Either way. What? Okay.
Yeah.
But what else? Oh my God.
The real estate purchase, but no,
Yeah.
back to the Marsteller
Yeah,
purchase.
yeah.
That one's an awesome one. That's 20 acres. That's going to give us green space, park space, athletic fields. I think the a fire station's going in there,
so.
a rescue
Yeah.
squad,
Yeah.
something along those lines. Like,
Yeah.
I'm down for that.
Yeah.
There's
There's so many things they can do with that property. But the one thing that I felt that I'm reading your notes, and so please, like, you can jump in here anytime you want. But I thought this was the coolest thing. And I thought that this is like, wow. Like, if we've had 3 episodes, the devil works hard, Simone works harder. And, you know, you're out there meeting people, talking to people. One thing has happened already that was like an actual change has happened. Please.
Yeah, it was just, I just mentioned, I was flustered. I wasn't prepared for this talk. And so the one thing that stood out to me that I've kind of had issues with, and, I notice it all the time. And when I'm walking around in the evening, is just the area in front of Durrani Coffee House. Like, it just doesn't look good. When it rains, it gets muddy. There's some water runoff from somewhere. And I called it an ankle breaker because it's a weird corner. So if you meet like another couple
sidewalk.
coming, you have to step out and it goes down. Chief Keane called me.
On her phone.
Called me from
his phone.
phones. We called each other.
Yeah.
And, or we talked on the phone, and he wanted to verify that in the area that I was complaining about was, he wanted to address that. And he also noticed some other places, but I'm going to, I want, if you have a spot that you want me to talk about, then tell me about it, because I want,
message us.
I'm not complaining about the town. Maybe they don't see that he's not necessarily traveling the same route I am and doesn't see what I see.
Yeah. And nothing's going to be perfect, but like the fact that
because I noticed something over the weekend that we didn't talk about at the Spotted Lanternfly.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm irked.
She irked. But
I'm irked.
that spot by Durrani, like, it's being rehabbed thanks to a concerned citizen. But my other point is, like, we invite thousands of people down here on First Fridays, and we're like, hey, come to our town, like, come check out this beautiful place, like, da-da-da. And then it's like, there's this spot where somebody really could like hurt themselves. And it's like right between awesome Durrani and our beautiful train station that
And
we love so much.
mariachis.
And
Like, that's a heavy traffic area.
And and so the fact that like something's being done, it's like, that just makes me so excited for the future. But,
and other things that can be addressed.
but Simone,
Like,
notice.
such as, I don't know who needs to hear this, the town arborist.
Man.
I don't know if it's a money issue, but ASAP, when I went on the Spotted Lanternfly walking tour which was actually the Manassas Garden Club, our little butterfly garden back there, which I saw tons of butterflies, which was really cool.
Imagine.
Yeah, I was taking pictures and everything. But right behind that is Manassas Museum property. And I guess, I don't know if it exactly butts up to where all the new Van Meter development is going in, but that whole Van Meter, Georgetown South area has been cleared out. Like it's cleared out. There's going to be houses. But behind the museum, we have all these old, beautiful, monstrous trees. I mean, they're old and they're all being choked out by ivy. And I'm pissed. Somebody needs to take care of that. Somebody needs to hack at it, pull it down, because those old trees are as important as our old buildings.
Right.
That is history in our town.
Yeah.
Those trees fall, those trees die. We're going to plant, a little sapling. And no,
Yeah.
take care of those trees.
Yeah.
I will also be emailing Chief Keane and others. Yeah,
But
because that is, and I mean, this is me not having any experience doing this, just watching from the safety of my porch while Mitch does stuff and makes our yard beautiful.
Oh, I took all
Thank
the
you,
ivy
babe.
down off of a tree in our backyard because you lose a tree, you lose like the whole
I showed you the pictures. It's out of control.
But I mean, you'll lose the whole look of the area
Yeah.
and the whole like
Those are
softness.
birds, those are bugs,
Yeah.
those are things that,
Yeah.
that needs to be taken care of. So that's a new thing on my list.
Josh Mulcahy came over to our house to do some landscaping in the spring, and he was like, "You have to get this ivy off."
Yeah.
And so I just surprised Courtney with it one day, and I took it all down. And I really, felt.
Do you know what my favorite tree in all of Manassas is? The tree as you're driving southbound Route 28, right after, like by your old house, where you drive by the old fire station. There was an old dilapidated house that sat right where that parking lot is, and it was this gross brick house was falling down, and the tree was being choked out. They pulled the vines off that tree every spring. It is picture perfect.
It's the first tree you see when you pull an old
first
town.
true. No, well, you see the one that that they have in the median, and then that one, and it's just so inviting. It's so beautiful. Like we need to do better. We need to unchoke these trees.
They made that the parking lot for the messenger place.
Apartment complex.
I'm so glad they kept that tree.
Me too. It would have been very easy for someone to say, let's cut it down. Let's put in, whatever. And it is
tree
absolutely
huggers.
beautiful.
A couple of tree
look
huggers.
I've never been in that category before.
And now
look at me talking about filigree, saving trees.
I know. Hippie.
I'm not going to grow out with hits.
But speaking of First Fridays.
Yes.
We were talking about a second ago.
That's something I brought up to Chief Keane was First Fridays. I said, we love First Friday. We have one coming up in September. September and October are usually really fun because the weather's nicer. First Friday is an awesome time. But I told him, I said, there are things that need to be buttoned up. And I referenced it very quickly in our very first episode, the street closures. The streets open way too soon. It's dangerous. Like we're setting ourselves up for.
What are the hours now?
I think the streets reopen at 10.
So I think it's like 6 to 10.
So the bands usually end at 9. And then the streets open up. I feel like they just open up like that. And a lot of people that aren't from here, they're walking around with their drink, having the best time. And they go into a bar, have another drink, and they come wandering out, not realizing that the streets have opened. It's extremely dangerous. I've seen it. I've seen a couple of close calls, and he acknowledged that too. He said there was going to be a meeting coming up, and now I'm wondering because in the same day I was in Old Town Manassas, and I was in town, and I caught wind of the restaurants acknowledging that there are issues that accompany First Friday.
They get slammed.
The amount of people that come to our sweet little town on First Friday it's astounding.
Staggering.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome. But the restaurants are aware that it's a little bit out of control. And I think that, I don't really know who the person is Like, is there one person in charge of First Friday? I know that HMI holds the liquor license for First Friday, but I don't know what that means. Like, do they have one person running around with a clipboard saying, okay, this and this? So it needs to be buttoned up. And the restaurants, which is awesome, they formed a coalition. It's all the restaurants in town minus the Bone, because the Bone's already closed.
Yeah.
I think they close at 9 or 10. And they have proposed to the city that they make some changes and have a better guideline for First Friday and how it works.
It'll benefit everybody.
It really will.
Yeah.
I'm super
What are some of the
duper
changes they talked
excited about it. I think my two biggest takeaways from it are the Restaurant Coalition asked that the streets stay open till 12:30. Totally cool with that.
Stay
Or
closed.
stay closed. So they
for
do
people
not
to walk around.
reopen until 12:30. And the restaurants will all close collectively at midnight.
This is the best thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's the
that
best
is
thing for
awesome.
it.
Nothing
Yeah.
good happens after midnight.
No.
Nothing. I even
No.
asked Jess Stalter, I love her.
Love you.
I said, and hi, baby Kerrigan. She's the sweetest little baby.
God, it was just like, she just birthed
I
her,
know.
Like,
Yeah.
they're twins.
But I asked her, I said, do you do much business after midnight?
Yeah.
Do you make a lot of money? And she said, no.
No.
She says there's a lot going on. There's people. She's trying to, do this and do that. And
Yeah.
she said that it's not, so she's not opposed.
And it's dangerous. And these places are like way past capacity. And like one of the restaurateurs, I'm not gonna say, told me that like, the fire marshal's always up their butt, because like there's just so many people. And it's like, if these restaurants are like a higher security, like for just that night, like they shouldn't have to do that. It's just wild.
No, but I would also like to see the police step up and start issuing tickets, and because it's some of the things have become blatant. Like when you see people rolling up with coolers or just cans of High Noon or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that's just blatant.
Yeah.
Write them a ticket.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen with it, but I don't know. Just do something.
I've heard, working at the salon, like we have clients that come, some of them all the way from DC, but a lot from inside the Beltway. And they'll tell me that like Manassas is now known as a drinking destination, between like
our breweries, our distilleries, wineries.
Black Sheep, the First Fridays in Manassas. And basically like where Manassas starts is like right past us is like, it's just all where like wine country starts. And so they look at us as a drinking destination. And part of me is like, right on.
I love that. I don't mind. I don't even drink and I don't mind.
I love us having our name being on a map.
Button it up a
hey
little
Jeff,
bit.
look at my hands. I'm going crazy. But while I love that, I also at the same time, I'm like, I don't want them to think of it as like the playground.
No.
Yeah.
No, we don't want that reputation and we don't want anything bad to happen.
Absolutely not.
So, and another thing that comes with that I'm excited for is if the streets stay closed later at 12:30 is what they're proposing. That means the bands can play longer.
Do a little more rock and roll.
Pre-COVID, bands stayed. They would play until 11. I mean, they would even break the rules and play a little bit past 11. I loved it. I loved it. And if the streets stay closed longer, then the bands can play longer. Mm-hmm. That crowd stays longer, and it's a win-win. I think it's great.
How does First Friday affect the new noise ordinance for the city?
I didn't even know there was a noise ordinance for the city.
It just increased. So like even during normal business hours, like used to be like maybe like after 11 o'clock, you have to be below a certain decibel limit. But I know it just changed to something else to make it even more strict.
Oh, wow.
And that just came in effect, I think, the last week or two.
Huh.
So maybe,
now I'm curious because we don't have anybody play past 9, really.
Yeah.
I want to say that Yoko Says No played until 10, but that was in Sinistral.
Mm-hmm.
Out on the streets, on Battle Street, right down the street from me, we would have bands that played until 11. Sometimes if they were having a really good time and nobody cared and nobody raised a stink, they would play later.
That's
and it was awesome. I miss that.
Yeah. I just wish that it would just stay nice. And I just wish that things...
Well, I think that would make a huge difference because watch what happens now. The bands pack up 9 and between 9 and 10, you have this huge crowd shift. and they're younger. I don't know where they're coming from. They're the ones rolling in with coolers and all this stuff. And I think a lot of them are underage. And I proposed the wristband system where in Ocean City, if you go to, if you go to like these big festivals, if I want to consume alcohol, if I want to purchase alcohol, I have to go to a designated stand, get my ID inspected by somebody who's doing solely that, that gives me a tight wristband or a stamp or whatever. And, you know, people are still going to screw around and break the rules, but let's make it a little harder. With the cups, they just pass it to one another and, you know, fill it with their own booze. But I think that these are really good asks. And I think they're really healthy asks. And I hope the city... I hope that they can all work together to make First Friday safer.
Because we don't want to go away.
But like getting back to what I said about the bands, if the bands can play until 11, then and the restaurants are all going to collectively close at 12, that second wave is going to be like, well, why are we going to go to Manassas? They're going to close at 12. Let's go here. Let's go. So the people that aren't interested in the bands
and like the restaurants,
they'll find another spot to
I will
do their
say
thing.
I like that I feel like they've brought in some more food trucks the last few times, and people are like, well, if you bring in food trucks, nobody's going to go to the restaurants. Yes, they are.
You can't get a seat in a restaurant.
You can't get a seat. You can't get food, and people are out there drinking. And so, like, I mean, obviously, like, the food trucks are amazing. Obviously, find Manassas own businesses, things like that. But I think there should be like one on every corner. As many as possible, just because like
there's so many people. There are a ton of people.
And you cannot get a bite. Which is great. But
I go to my house and make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Right. Well, not
and then I come back out.
That. Not everybody has that thing. You should be selling them out there.
I a peanut butter and jelly stand. But then I'd have to stand there. I want to go hang out in town. That's my favorite.
I want to go see what
outsource
it. Would there be inventory to sell?
No, not if I was involved.
No. What are some other events coming up besides our First Friday?
Yeah, First Friday. Oh, this was a fun thing that we discovered today, because this is, if you are into swing dancing, the September 12th and September 14th, we have you covered.
And the 12th is here at the Salisbury Center. Grammy Award-winning blues artist Tyrone Vaughn with Ben McNulty and Hot Texas Sun, which are going to be doing like a rockabilly performance. It starts at 7, but with the price of a ticket, price of admission, if you come at 6:30, you get a free swing dance lesson before the band starts at 7.
And they're going to get you warmed up, because on the 14th, 2 days later at the Harris Pavilion, is the Silvertone Swing Band. And if you have not gone to Harris Pavilion for one of the swing band concerts, it is so much fun. The crowd, the dancers alone are so much fun to watch. People are super into it.
Yeah.
And it's just good, wholesome fun.
And then, like we talked about, the 21st here, we got the TCB Muay Thai kickboxing. The 22nd here, Champions League boxing. The 20th, going back 2 days, there's a Daycare Swindlers reunion show here at the Salisbury Center. Get your tickets for that. What else?
Yes. I don't know. We don't have anything else listed.
Yeah.
But we want to ask you guys, have you ever dreamed of hosting your own podcast?
Like in a cool studio like this?
Yeah.
Because if you have, the Salisbury Center podcast studio is available to rent.
You can.
It's available to rent, yeah.
Yeah, you can rent the studio, not just for podcasts, but for public service announcements, commercials.
Zoom calls for like corporate events, or, you know, if you need like a group of people. And who would they contact if they wanted to do that? Through the Facebook page or what?
Yeah, so you know, honestly, it'd be Jeff. It'd be Jeff Salisbury. It would be go to wildstylenetwork.com and submit a contact request. You could do the live Zoom events here. You could also host your corporate party downstairs and then do remote broadcasts up here. There's so many possibilities outside of that room as well.
Podcast studio, but
because they have proms here. People rent out the space to do quinceañeras here, like all the time. But you know, so besides just bands, like there's, I think Home Instead might have rented it out for like an anniversary party before. But there's an entire event venue here that's not just for, you know, boxing and music, even though they're awesome. But if you wanted to do your own podcast, talk about whatever you want.
It's funny how many people I have encountered now that we started this, and they're like, I've always dreamed of hosting a podcast. I've always wanted to host a podcast.
And there's different packages where you can get like 2 hours, and then you have your producer, John Caniford, that comes along with it. So it's interesting. If you're inquire at all, you can go and ask Jeff Salisbury, and like he'll give you all that information. And then what was the other thing?
Okay. Also, John, you're up again. Bet Stamp.
So exciting news. We're thrilled to announce our partnership with BetStamp and Sign Up Expert, opening up an incredible opportunity for you to join some of our favorite sports books to get the best odds and new user offers. Head over to our dedicated page at signupexpert.com/WildStyleNetwork to explore a selection of sports books tailored to your region, each with unique offerings. If you're ready to take your sports betting to the next level and show some love for Until They Kick Us Out in the Wild Style Network, we highly recommend signing up for your next sports book through our Sign Up Expert link. You can easily find that link in the description of this video. And remember, when you sign up for a sports book, our DFS, using our link, you are supporting us and helping us be able to continue bringing you great content and, more importantly, great picks. Thank you, BetStamp. And you guys got to hurry up because I got a NFL draft here in about 20 minutes.
Okay.
We have one thing we want to talk about, but you might be interested in it.
Yeah. So don't rush off.
So stay near the microphone.
I had a funny thing. Well, not a funny thing, but an interesting. Carol hung out with me all day Friday evening, and we had the best time. And we were at Sinistral, and I was talking about the podcast because it's all I talk about. Mm-hmm. And I said something about John Caniford. She was like, "Is his dad's name Terry?" And I said, "Well, I don't know." And she goes, "I'm pretty sure it is." And tears started swelling up in her eyes.
Because she's an angel.
She is. And she started thinking about her wonderful daddy, Curtis, who used to, Terry Caniford was so generous and kind that he would just toss Curtis the keys to his, is this right, John? A gold Honda motorcycle? I don't know.
I really don't know.
And he would, and Carol said, she goes, I can feel myself sitting behind him on the back of that motorcycle. And it was so sweet to see her make that connection. And I was like, Terry Caniford. So then I texted John. I was like, was your dad Terry Caniford? He said, yes. He goes, the legend. And I was like, well, damn it. John, I met your daddy. I met him, of all places, in the Carper house right next door to my house. The Carper house was being turned back over from the city back to the estate. Mm-hmm. And I saw Heather Merkler and Linda Smith going in there with a man. And because I'm a nosy neighbor and don't have any boundaries, I walked right on over in there. Mm-hmm. And here's this man with tinted glasses, just like my dad. And they said, this is Terry Caniford. And I toured the Carper house with your daddy, John. And I never even realized it. What a nice man.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And what is this right here?
I don't know. I can't see.
Oh,
he was the most winning coach at GMBL.
Yeah. Yeah, sure was.
And that's baseball?
You're an only
baseball.
child, John, aren't you?
I'm an only child.
Yeah.
I'm an only child,
Did you
too.
play baseball?
I did.
So he was your coach?
He was.
Oh.
Yeah, it was fun.
And what am I hearing that he had a look?
He had a look to him.
Because
he carried a hair brush with him everywhere. I mean,
I can totally see that.
Tinted glasses, like you said, tinted
I feel
glasses
like I remember a
went.
pinky ring or something.
The pinky rings.
Oh,
yeah.
I did.
What kind of car did he drive out of curiosity? He looks like a Cadillac
Between
man.
him and the Harris brothers and him were so buddy. He would change cars every few months, I feel like. So there wasn't a set car. So it was a convertible in the summertime, SUV in the winter.
Yeah, that matches.
I went and looked
fits.
up after John had shared some things about his father. I went and looked up some photos. Like I believe one was his obituary, and I was like, that dude has stud vibes like all over him. And
Don't know what happened. Don't know what happened there.
With what? I'm just saying. But no, he apple doesn't fall that far from the tree. But I'm telling you, he was like stud vibes, and I was like, that dude, that's Manassas right there.
I've put all the pieces together together there, John.
Yeah, but isn't
it's
that
all
cool?
full circle.
And that's what we love. We're a sweet little town.
Like, it's not even 6 degrees of separation. It's like 3 degrees of Old Town Manassas.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Courtney calls it 6 degrees of Nikki France. She thinks that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Just because I'll be
because
like,
you're Nikki.
oh, yeah. Yeah.
And we also want to give a shout out to super fans.
Yeah.
We have some super fans. Henry Dawson, full of compliments. I love him. I don't even know him. I love him.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And Amelia Offerman, girl.
From CJ Fins.
Yes. She is a super fan. Every time I see her, she's like, where's my next episode? See, John, I told you, clamoring.
And here's your shout out.
People are clamoring.
Here's your shout out, darling.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if we don't have anything else, my
kick
watch,
us out. It's
I'm just curious
damn
how
hot.
long till this podcast becomes live and it's not delayed.
I know. We were talking about that. We have to button up some stuff. Like we need to figure out our guest
we need our guest roster
procedure and how that's going to work. But yeah, we could go. I have confidence that we could do live soon.
Well, we can talk about that.
Yeah.
I think there's pros and cons to each, but I think it's about time for y'all to get the
F out.
F out of here.
Well, my watch just told me to stand up, so my watch is
It is time. It is time. I mean,
Your watch is trying to kick us out.
I'm trying to cook you guys in there to get you guys to leave finally.
I'm
So
watching my hair do like I have a curl.
It's just dying.
A humidity.
Anything
curl.
that anybody wants to see us talk about or cover, or now that Simone is Simone on the street, if you have anything interesting like that, please message us.
Fill
let
up my
us know,
calendar. Give me stuff to
please.
do.
Because this has just been like we have 4
This is a
episodes,
blast.
and this has just been so much fun. So
Yeah, I still like you.
I love you. I'm like obsessed with her. I'm just like, what is she doing? I gotta have her location.
It's fun. It's fun.
Yeah. We're having the greatest time, and we want you to be part of it. So please message us, like, comment, share.
Give us content, please.
We love it.
Yeah. Thanks.
All right.
Everybody have a good day.